All right, people, we're gonna get it started. All right, hold on. All right, all right. Okay. So my thing is this, okay, and let me get it up. Let me get the screen up. All right, all right. Let me get it up. All right. So my thing is this. All right. Mr. Research is a failed MGTOW. Okay. That's what he is. That's what he was back in 2010, back in 2011. For those of you who were around back then, I was around back then. Okay. I was in black YouTube and stuff back then. I can tell you all about how it was back then. MGTOW was big back in 2010, from about 2010 to 2012. Okay. MGTOW was big. And as far as Mr. Research was around back then, he had a channel called Manhood Lessons that later got taken down. Okay. But what you need to understand about that era is that MGTOW, men going their own way movement, and was a okay. It was it was really a white movement. It was really a white male dominated movement, and it really was about. Hold on, let me get my banner up. Sorry about that. All right, it really was about okay, the fact that white men in the modern era were angry that they no longer had the control over white women that they used to have. That's what MGTOW really was about. Okay. That's what it really was about. And then the fact that you had black guys who were over there in that space. See, I didn't fuck with it because I knew what it was about from jump. I knew I say it's shit. Because I would go into I would look at their little videos and stuff, and I'd be like, hey, these white dudes that are making these MGTOW videos, a lot of them are sexually frustrated. Okay, that's what I said. I said a lot of them are sexually frustrated. A lot of them are pissed off at the world. They're mad at the world. Okay, because the world they don't feel the world is moving. Okay, they don't feel the world was moving the way that they wanted it to move. All right, and then a lot of the black dudes that was over there, for some reason they couldn't recognize that they was over there, they was hanging out over there. Okay. These dudes was hanging out with these white dudes and stuff on their panels and stuff, and it never occurred to them that these white guys didn't really want them around until, and I remember it was I Am Ball. It was a YouTuber, a black YouTuber. He's still on YouTube. His name was I Am Ball, and I Am Ball made a video where he was saying that he was on some white mgtow channel, because I Am Ball was real big into the mgtow shit until they had the split. And the split was when black dudes split off and they formed Ibmore. Okay, Ibmore was created by Adigan Forrest. Everyone thinks BGS created Ibmore. BGS did not create no fucking Ibmore. Ibmore was created by a guy named Adigan, a black dude named Adigan Forrest. And I was cool with Adigan Forrest. I used to kick it with Adigan Forrest. Okay, I was down with Adigan Forrest. You know what I mean? I used to kick it with him. And so what happened was I Am Ball, and he wasn't the only one, but he went and he made a video and he said, look, um, I saw I feel that these white MGTOW guys, I feel that they're racist. And I've seen racist stuff in their comments, and I've seen little slick ass remarks and shit in their comments and shit. So I'm not gonna fuck with them no more. And I Am Ball said that. So I Am Ball, he started producing a lot of his own content and just doing his own thing, and he stopped fucking with them. But then a lot of other black guys started to see the same issues, and a lot of them started to leave white MGTOW alone, and then they created Ibmore. Okay. And then later O'Shea came and created the Black Manosphere. All right. So that's what went down. Okay. That's what really went down. And the way it went down is after a lot of those black dudes left MGTOW just became like a predominantly white male space, which is what it should have been anyways. Okay, that's what MGTOW should have been anyways. Okay, it had, and I said it had nothing to do with black males. Okay, black men need to, we have our own issues and stuff that affect us, but just understand that MGTOW stuff, that's for them. That's white guy stuff. Those are issues that white guys have. Okay, with their reality and their women and the way they perceive the world. It had nothing to do with black dudes. Black dudes had no business being over there. Okay, which is why Ibmore got creative. Mr. Research was one of those guys. Now, Mr. Research, like I said, he had a channel called Manhood Lessons. I was not a follower of Manhood Lessons, but I have learned about his channel from his own recollection. And what happened with Manhood Lessons is he had a channel where he was giving guys a lot of advice and stuff, supposedly on women and all that, but he doesn't have a woman. He never has been married, or he's been engaged twice, and it failed twice. Okay, but yet he's online calling himself some sort of guru, giving other people advice and all that kind of stuff. Okay, but he's never, you know what I mean? He himself has never he hasn't been successful in relationship in his life, but he want to give other people advice. You see what I'm saying? All right. So my thing is this. When he was in mgtow, he was one of those black mgtow guys who was like, hey man, we got to get these white guys on our side. We got to get the white guys on our side, and we got to get these laws changed. We got to get the child support laws changed. We got to get the child support lowered. Okay, we need to support politicians who support our cause and who believe in our cause. And we need to financially donate to them. You know what I mean? And put our money where our mouth is. We got to change these laws and change. And he was, I know he was on that back then, because there have been MRAs that I've got certain laws passed, and on the local level and stuff in different states and stuff. There have been MRA victories. Okay, I know that for a fact. So I know Mr. Research was going along that pathway. But what's interesting is he never mentions the MRAs, the men's rights activists. He only talked about like the mgtow and the and manosphere, but he don't really say a lot about MRAs though. Okay. Now, at that time, there was a big scuffle between mgtow and MRAs, because MRAs were about like the legislation and protesting the laws and getting laws and stuff changed. And mgtow, they were more philosophical. They didn't really care about the laws. They just were more interested in spreading their philosophy online. And they used to shit on the MRAs. They used to insult the MRAs, but the MRAs were the guys that actually were getting stuff done. But they used to throw shade. They used to throw salt at the MRAs and stuff. And I used to be like, why? What good is that really doing when they do that? You know what I mean? That used to make me scratch my head. I used to be like, why are they attacking the MRA? The MRAs ain't bothering nobody. You know what I mean? MRAs ain't bothering nobody. They just doing a thing, but you got people that was attacking them. Now, see, Mr. Research came from that school of thought with the mgtow that, okay, we got to get these white guys on our side. We'll have power if we get these white guys on our side. And to this day, it has perplexed me, because Mr. Research's channel and audience is really a black channel and a black audience. Okay. But for as long as the 2 or 3 years I've been following him, okay, how should I say, he has constantly alluded to white guys, or he'll talk about white guys he's experienced overseas, or he's dealt with overseas, or he'll talk about white guys and, well, white guys do this and they don't let that issue bother them, or white guys do that. And he would always do it he would say, black guys need to be more like white guys, because white guys got more of it, got have it more figured out, and white guys are smoother, and white guys have more money, and white guys this and white guys that. And then every now and again you would catch like a white guy over there on his channel, and then he would seem like he would get super happy when these white boys and stuff would be showing up on his channel and stuff. He even let a white boy say the N-word one time, and I was there. I'm like, what the fuck? And he was telling everybody not to get triggered and stuff. I'm like, what the hell? You just let a white boy come up here say the N-word. And you kept him on the panel? You know what I mean? And so I was looking at that stuff, and I'm like, so what's going on? Like, what's going on? Why is Mr. Research so into getting these white guys and stuff, on his platform and up on his channel and stuff. Like, why does he crave white participation in his channel like that? Okay. And then you have to look at, everything this guy does. It's like he's begging for white support. He's begging for white people, white guys to come and participate in his platform. He's constantly appealing to white guys, talking about Ronald Reagan and the labor unions, and how, it was really Jimmy Carter who fucked over the labor unions. It really had nothing to do with it. By the time Reagan got in there, the unions were already gone. Okay. Reagan had that one highly publicized battle with the air traffic controller union, but that was just a big media thing. And then all those air traffic controllers ended up getting their jobs back anyways after they did what they did. You know what I mean? So it was what it was. Okay, but Mr. Researchers had this thing of, we got to get these white guys onto our platform. We got to get these white guys to see the light. We got to get these white guys to see the light. And I'm like, why are you putting that much energy into it like that? You gotta have these white. And see, my thing is this: when it comes to black men and black male self-determination and stuff like that, I believe black men, whatever black men get is going to come from black men. I don't believe in this theory of allies, and we got to have the white guy as the ally and other men to stand with us. I don't believe it works like that. And the reason is because black men, we don't really break bread with these other groups like that. A lot of white guys ain't really making a lot of money dealing with us, and a lot of non-black, Hispanics, Asians, or whatever, they're not making a lot of money dealing with us. Okay, so you have to ask yourself, what incentive do they have to really fuck with us? Okay. There is none. We're not breaking bread with them, so we can't expect them to jump on our causes and stuff and want to come be enthusiastic about being a part of our cause and stuff when there's nothing in it for them. You know what I mean? You can't really expect that stuff. And my whole thing about it is that I think it's a waste of time. I think he would be better off. You'd be better off just going and promoting business ventures and stuff with other black dudes and stuff who want to put their money together and make some money and that. You'd be better off doing that than sitting up we got to get these white guys on our team. We got to get these white guys on our side. The child support is too high. And that's another thing. He tries to get these white guys in on this whole child support stuff. And see, Mr. Research doesn't even have kids. He has no biological children. Okay. He had a woman sue him in the state of Washington years ago because she had him listed as the father of record. So he had a big legal battle with that, but that was years ago. Okay. But that child was not his biological son. So he has no biological children, but yet he's running around talking about child support laws. And I'm like, why? You don't have kids, bro. There's other guys on here that have kids. Let them fight that battle. Let them be the spokesperson for that. Why are you putting yourself up as a spokesperson for something you don't have? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And then the whole father of record thing, he even admits he allowed that shit. He allowed that woman access to him to be able to do that to him. And he even admits that. He'll tell you himself. All right. He'll tell you himself about that stuff. He'll admit that. And he has on multiple occasions. Okay. He has on multiple occasions. Okay. So you have to ask, why is he talking about child support for? But his thing is he thinks that these white guys give a fuck about child support the way black dudes do, and white guys don't give a fuck about child support like that. It affects them. Yeah, a lot of white guys have to fucking pay child support and shit. But these white guys, they they feel like that is an issue that's above that they're above. They're not gonna be like black dudes and start whole movements behind child support. White guys just ain't gonna do that. So it's kind of a waste of time for you to be pursuing them, as allies on some shit like that. See, some white guys would rather get together and rub some coins together and figure out how they can make some more money rather than sit around and bitch about child support like black dudes do. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. I'm gonna be real with you. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. You know what I mean? White dudes ain't tripping off child support like that. Their minds are, well, shit, let me go start this other business over here. Let me go get on with this business venture over here and make more money. And then I'll just use my money to fight my baby mama in court and see my child more. Like that's their whole thing. These motherfuckers not gonna go to the state capitol. And then, Mr. Research complains about people like Tom Cotton, the politician. I think he's from Arkansas, who's introducing a bill to raise child support and shit. And he'll complain about Tom Cotton, but y'all need to understand these white boys love Tom Cotton. He's a war hero, right? Wasn't he in Afghanistan? Wasn't he in Iraq or whatever? He's some kind of war. They market him like he's this big war hero or whatever. Okay, that's what white guys aspire to. They aspire to shit like that. So they don't give a fuck that he's gonna raise child support. White guys are the wrong dudes you should be trying to get to be your ally on that issue, man. They just the wrong dudes for that shit. If you gonna fight for that shit, black dudes are better off fighting, standing alone, fighting for that shit, trying to depend on these white guys. These white guys are not gonna be dependable allies like that. They're just not. I mean, they're not gonna be dependable allies like that. So it's a waste of time. And see, I feel like it's a waste of time. And so I would never participate in it. But Mr. Research has been pushing this stuff and pushing this stuff and pushing this stuff. And who knows? Maybe he's making some kind of progress or something. I don't know. But to me, it seemed like an awful long time to be pushing for stuff, okay, and not really getting a result like that. Like, what is he really? Is he going to go start like a political action committee or something? Get some money together. I don't think he is. He's just doing it on YouTube. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's just doing it on YouTube. Okay. And this thing that you got to have these white guys and stuff around, man. That's, you know what I mean? That's just unproductive. And I've always wondered that. Okay. Then what Mr. Research will do is he'll do this weird thing where he'll go and he'll attack SYSBM black men who are want to go overseas and deal with women overseas. Like, why are you attacking those men? Those men ain't even fucking with you. I could see if they was fucking with him and coming at him and making videos about him and saying slick stuff about him, that's fine. But these dudes ain't even fucking with you, and you going all the way over there to SYSBM to go and try to shame those dudes. Like, what are you doing when you do that? What are you trying to accomplish? You can go all the way over there to talk to them. For what? All right. These guys have already made it up in their head, all right, that they want to go overseas and deal with the women overseas. If they feel like that, let them go over there. Let them go over. Y'all need to leave these dudes alone. Y'all need to leave these brothers alone. You know what I mean? If they feel like that, let them go over there. But these brothers ain't got nothing to do with you. And he over there, he, talking about them, talking about they need to be concerned about the city council, okay, and the school boards and all, and the laws and the Congress and the sheriff and all that shit. And you know what I mean? And these dudes are already, have already transitioned. Some of them are transitioning on and going to live overseas. Some of these brothers have already had success overseas. They got businesses and stuff overseas. They've built whole lives for themselves overseas. And they setting it up, but they don't even have to be in America anymore. And Mr. Research going over there talking shit to those dudes. I heard Mr. Research say stupid shit like women in Europe fuck dogs, or women in the country, that live way in the rural areas in Europe, that they fuck dogs and stuff at night. And like, nigga, ain't nobody trying to hear that stupid ass shit. I'm like, nigga, ain't nobody trying to hear that goofy ass shit. That's a bunch of goofy ass shit. And ain't nobody trying to hear that. Ain't nobody checking for that. But he would take his ass over there and say that kind of stupid, dumb ass shit. I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? I'll be like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? What are you doing? When he starts doing that dumbass shit, that's when I stop paying attention. That's when I stop fucking with him. Real talk. I'm like, yeah, this dude is off his fucking rocker. Bro, how about you go make a video, go talk about something productive. Go teach these brothers how to make more money. Do something productive instead of talking about that shit. Those brothers, those SYSBM brothers have nothing to do with you. They have nothing to do with you. Those guys don't even want to be bothered with you. They don't even want to be bothered with America anymore. A lot of them have transcended America, and you're going to go over there and follow those dudes and you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing at that point? You know what I mean? Like what's really going on at that point? You know? And he would do that weird shit. Mr. Research, he would do that weird ass shit. And I would just shake my head like, what the fuck is this dude doing? Like, what the fuck is he doing? Then you constantly talk about black guys and break up with white women and stuff. He doesn't even have a woman himself, but he want to talk about somebody else being in a breakup. And I'll be like, bro, you need to get up out of here. The most successful thing Mr. Research ever did was manhood lessons back in 2010, 2011, 2012. That was the most successful thing he ever did. And he never replicated it. Once he lost that channel, he never was able to replicate that channel. Once that channel was gone, he never got back. And you know, and he, the way he tells the story, he says that the women came and flagged that channel down. But as much shit as he talked, for all we know, it could have been some dudes that flagged that channel down. Women may not even been paying attention to that channel. It could have been some dudes that went up in there and took that channel out that didn't like him. But he blamed it on women. And he said that he had some sort of picture up that showed a guy sitting in a convertible or something with a cigar in his mouth. And there was some women standing around in the picture. And he claims that the women weren't really dressed suggestively or anything like that in the video or in the picture, but then he claims that YouTube came down and said that it was nudity in the picture, so they shut the whole channel down. And I'm like, okay, so what happened after that? And then he said that the women that he went to the YouTube campus itself, because the YouTube campus is right up there in Northern California. He lives up there in Northern California. He said he went to the YouTube, campus and complained to the actual management and stuff. And he claims that YouTube was like a predominantly female company. It's like predominantly female executives and employees and then that kind of stuff. Okay. That's what he claimed. And he said that these women on YouTube were against him. So they shut his channel down. Now, supposedly the channel got reinstated. They said they did put the channel back up or something like that, or they did something with it. And they put the channel back up or something temporarily, but he was never able to regain the popularity that he had. You know what I mean? So he just ended up falling off for good. And the channel he had supposedly just fell off and it was gone. And that's what Mr. Research claims. He claimed that the women of YouTube took his YouTube channel away. He said they did that about 5-6 years ago to him. Probably longer than that. It was probably about 8 or 9 years ago at this point. Okay, because this happened 2010 to 2013. So he said he lost his YouTube channel, and he claims that the women flagged the channel down, the black women or whatever came and flagged the channel down, and he lost his channel. Okay. And that's what he claims happened. Okay, but like I said, Mr. Research is a failed mgtow. He was in mgtow. He was palling around with those white guys and stuff. Okay, until the white guys got exposed for being racist. And then the black dudes formed Ibmore. And that's another thing. I often wonder, does he have like some kind of issue with Ibmore? Because I know he had a problem with BGS. A lot of people got problems with BGS. I got my issues with BGS. But how come he's never embraced Ibmore? And what he does is he attacks stuff like Ibmore, and he attacks the black manosphere. He says that the black manosphere dudes are immature. because they talk about women all the time, and they're emotional, and that they should be doing other things other than what they're doing. And my thing is, if those guys are not fucking bothering you, you need to leave them the fuck alone. They're doing what's working for them. Okay? They're doing what's working for them. What they do ain't got shit to do with you, period, at all. Okay? They doing what's working for them. So why is it that you got feel the need? Oh, I gotta go talk about the manosphere. I gotta go talk about those dudes in the manosphere. Those dudes in the manosphere, they're immature. Okay, they're immature. You know, and that's been my issue with it. Like, well, you don't need to talk to those dudes. The manosphere, if you notice, never talks about Mr. Research. They never talk about him. They don't even bother with him. He's insignificant to them. They don't even bother with him. Okay? All right. The dudes in the manosphere don't even bother with him, but he feels the need to constantly talk about them. And constantly, and these dudes are not listening to him. These manosphere guys are not listening to to Mr. Research. But yet Mr. Research has keeps on talking about them, and then he goes on all these panels. Like he tries to say on these panels that black men in the manosphere are immature and they think like little boys and they don't want to be managers on their job. Now, first off, there's a lot of manosphere guys who are very high functioning, who are very well skilled, make really good money. Some of them own their own businesses. Okay, and a lot of them have surpassed Mr. Research in terms of success and in life and stuff. Okay, but yeah, here he is talking shit about them. You should, you know, that you shouldn't be talking shit about the manosphere. The manosphere, if anything, you should be trying to network and work with those dudes and get, so y'all can make some money. He don't even have enough sense to do that. Mr. Research don't even have enough sense to do that. You got to ask yourself why. Why is that? Why does Mr. Research not have enough sense to work with these manosphere guys instead of attack them? And it's like when you talking about these manosphere guys and you going at these manosphere guys, okay, all right, you just making a lot of enemies over there. Why you want to just make a bunch of enemies? Do you want these guys to come? And this is what I think it is. Do you want attention? Do you want these guys to come and follow you and be followers of you? Because that's really what I think he wants. That's his big bone of contention with people like Mr. Research, like BGS Itmore and stuff. Because guys like BGS Itmore, they have big followings and stuff. Mr. Research doesn't have that. Mr. Research has always wanted that. He's always wanted younger black guys to look up to him and follow him, but he's never had that talent like that. Like I said, the only successful thing he ever did was manhood lessons back in the early 2010s. He had a channel called Manhood Lessons, and he had about 35, 40K subscribers. Okay. He was up there. He was one of the bigger YouTubers at that time. He had about 35, 40K subscribers. And he lost it all, and he was never able to get back to that. So I kind of think and believe he might have just been a one-hit wonder. You know what I mean? He might have just been a one-hit wonder. He might have just been someone who got up there, had a little bit of success, made a little bit of money up there, whatever, if he was monetized or whatever. And when it was over, it was over, and he was never able to recapture that. And I think that that fucks with him. That fucks with him. That's why his channel is just not popular. Okay. He only got 344 subscribers on this channel. I got more than that. I got about 500-600 subscribers on my channel. Okay, he was never able to recoup that success or figure out how to get back to the success that he had. You know. He was just never able to get back to that. And I fucked with him. Okay. Okay. That fucked with him. You know. Okay, so now fast forward to 2022, and he's making videos guilting black men, talking about black men and talking about what black dudes ain't doing. I remember on Mr. Fantastic's channel when that white boy came up there that was from Germany, and he said something. He started talking about IQ and talking about how, saying that black men have low IQs and stuff like that. Mr. Research took the white guy's side. And see, my whole thing is when that white boy came up there was nothing remarkable about that white boy. Okay, there was nothing remarkable about him. The white boy didn't say anything that was profound. He didn't bring forth any information that anybody hadn't heard before. He wasn't particularly well researched or anything like that. He just came on. Oh, here's a panel of black people. He just came up onto the fucking panel. Fucking Mr. Fantastic. Let his ass up there, and he just started talking shit. And they spent the next 25 to 45 minutes on that white boy. And I couldn't believe that. You had a panel of black men, and they were having a productive conversation. You let one white boy up there and start talking shit, and he just take over the whole fucking panel. Now everybody is focusing on this white boy. You realize that white boy, he probably couldn't get the same kind of attention, all right, amongst his own people, but he come over to black people and he's able to get attention amongst black people. I don't think they even realize what they even did for that white boy that day. They gave that white boy what he had been wanting for a long time and didn't even realize it. They didn't even realize what they did. You know what I mean? I didn't even realize what they did. You just gave a white boy who's a nobody in his community all type of attention he would never get otherwise. Okay. And Mr. Research came up there and he tried to he didn't go on that panel, but he made a video talking about well, the white boy, they didn't have an intellectual response to the white boy. The white boy himself wasn't intellectual. He's just a random ass white boy up there talking shit. He was not intellectual. Okay, but Mr. Research, he put the burden on these black guys that was up there in the manosphere to be intellectual, but there was nothing intellectual about what the white boy said. He came up there and he asked the question, how many black men have an IQ above 100? That's what he said. They should have shut that shit down right then and there. They said, "Hey, you up here antagonizing us. You disrupting our conversation." They should have got him up out of there right then and there. But see, Mr. Fantastic, he wanted to entertain the shit. That's why the shit kept going on, because Mr. Fantastic wanted to entertain the shit. They should have got rid of the white boy right then and there. Okay. But then why did Mr. Research come along? Okay. This and patronize this white boy. I'll never understand that to this day. Did he just favor the white boy? Sometimes I feel like Mr. Research favors white dudes over black guys sometimes he'll exalt a white guy and talk about how advanced the white guy is and how pathetic black guys are. I've seen him do that on a number of occasions. And that's a big part of the reason I don't take him serious, because he's just a guy from the hood, okay, who grew up in the hood, who believed that the black people that were around him in the hood were deficient. And the first time he was able to get out of the hood and see white people, he just thought that the white people were so much more advanced. And I believe as a young man, when he experienced that, he's carried that mindset with him his whole life. And that's a fucked up mindset to have. And nobody should have that kind of mindset. Okay, I don't think anybody should have that kind of mindset. I don't think anybody should believe that you should never believe that other people are better than your own people like that. I don't think anybody should believe that. And then another part of it is I think he has a resentment towards black people in some way. He may have been one of those kids that got picked on when he was younger by other black kids and stuff like that. I really do believe that. I do. I think he got picked on somehow and he never got over it. Okay, he never got over it. Okay, and he's had that issue ever since. All right, so that's my thing. I don't. He was a mgtow. He's a failed mgtow. He wants these white guys, to come and be a part of his movement and stuff. And he's been begging for white support for years, hasn't gotten it. So how much longer is he gonna beg for it? All right. And beg for, you know what I mean? Beg for things that he hasn't gotten and isn't gonna get. How much longer is he gonna do it? Now maybe he thinks his platform is gonna grow, and maybe it will grow. I don't know, but that kind of energy like that just isn't the kind of energy I want to fuck with. You know what I mean? It's just not the kind of energy I want to fuck with or be a part of. You know, you know. So you know, I mean, going forward, I expect him to continue the same antics that he's been doing. I don't think he's really learning from this stuff. He just and maybe the whole time he's been on YouTube, maybe he's been trying to achieve a white audience the whole time he's been on here. He keeps saying he wants to go to colleges and go speak at colleges and I'm like, well, nigga, if you feel like that, why don't you go on TED Talks and talk about the plight of black boys and how black boys are underserved in the educational system and in the schools and all that stuff. And my whole thing is if you feel like that, why don't you just go on TED Talks? They're talking about it on YouTube. I mean, you'd be better off going on TED Talks. You would get a bigger audience and probably more financial backing if you went on TED Talks. You know what I mean? But if you want that type of audience, why do you keep on having to attack black people and specifically black dudes? Black dudes that want nothing to do with you, that's who you go and attack. And it's weird to me because it's like he wants to attack the people supposedly that he wants to help, but he wants to attack them. That's like a weird predatory thing going on. Then he said that he helped this black dude. He brought some black dude onto his job and he was helping him. Supposedly, he said he was helping him, but he said he hired the dude and was giving the dude some sort of on the job training that he could put on his resume. And then he got mad at the dude because he said he caught the dude talking on a cell phone to his girlfriend that was white. I'm like, what the fuck that got to do with you? This man has a whole relationship and stuff, and when he's off, you getting mad at him for talking for talking on the phone with his white girlfriend. You making out a big like what kind of shit is that? Why are you worried so much about who another man is talking to? See, weird ass shit like that is why a lot of people don't fuck with Mr. Research. He just be on some really weird ass shit. He used to, and I think he's worse now. He used to make more sense a couple of years ago. A couple of years ago, he would come on and he would relate to young black dudes. Only recently has he started attacking young black guys. How he's done this thing where he attacks the other young black dudes and stuff. Okay, like I said, he's a failed mgtow. Okay, he was in the mgtow movement. He never got the support from white guys that he wanted to get in the mgtow movement. So he came over to the black side and he wants to get support from these black guys, but he's never gotten the support from black men either, which is why he's mad and wagging his finger at black men, talking about that they're not managers and that they're powerless on their jobs. But nothing could be further from the truth. He want to start talking about other men and what other men are doing on their jobs and stuff when nothing could be further from the truth. Why don't he worry about his own job? Why you got to go talk about somebody else and what somebody else is doing on their job and stuff? You know what I mean? So the shit is weird as fuck to me. You know. And he said, okay, Grand Admiral Gomez said, do pretty much promote speaking Ebonics. Yeah, I mean, I heard him on a video one time where he was talking about he was talking to some young girl trying to mentor her, and he told her not to say that she shouldn't say but yet every other word he's saying and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You know how unprofessional that is to give somebody advice and then you don't follow the advice that you give them. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think that might be a bot or something. I don't know. Look like a bot. Hold on. Let me get in there. All right. So damn, is that who is this bot? All right. Did you type that Grand Admiral Gomez? I'm looking at a comment. It says, honestly, wish that I didn't have to be black. This culture sucks and our genes probably suck too. Did you write that? Or is that a bot that's like infiltrated your avatar? Because I don't believe you wrote that. And then something's going on. Okay, you're saying I did write that, but then it shows. Oh, okay. I type in Russian to see if the Russian poster was real. Nah, I don't think there's anything wrong with our genes or anything like that. It's just that people like Mr. Research, man. He just on some goofy stuff, man. He been on here for years doing what he doing. He been doing this shit for years, man. where you attack the people who you want to support you, but you attack them. And in my playbook, you can't do that, man. You know. But anyways, bro, I'm gonna shut it down. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. I'm tired. It's the end of the night. I'm gonna shut it down and I'm gonna go chill. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go chill. Go do my thing. Get the likes up. Peace. Thanks for watching.